Oh God!
Welcome to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. And look, I'm making sure showed up right away for me. I don't have to sit around and wait for him to come in. Isn't
Hi,
that always fun? How you doing, bud?
I'm doing okay.
Do you want to throw your channel out there, let everybody know what's going on with you? How things are going?
Well,
If anything changed in the last 12 hours?
change. Nothing's changed. It's the
Nothing
same
changed? Okay,
most
that's
based T-shirts on the planet.
awesome.
Grab
Make
it
sure
at
that everything's...
americashirtsaretfirst.com. Grab yourself an awesome based T-shirt. Get the truth out.
So we'll sit here and wait a few minutes, let everybody start coming in. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, there's nobody watching us like normal. So basically what we're going to do today is we're just going to go through the past week. As you can see, it's marked as no plan Saturday. We actually have a little bit more of a plan than nothing or whatever, but when I created the thumbnail, I had no idea what I was going to do for the night because I'm like, we just did a 6.5 hour stream last night and have no clue what to do next.
I just blew it out of the water.
Right. That being said, we kind of, like I said, we kind of decided on what to do. So we're going to do a little week in review. So Tuesday, we started off with the Gestapo with the young man and kicking people out of the restaurants or whatever in New York for simply being there. I still feel for that little 5-year-old. That sucks. That shouldn't be something that should ever happen.
And there's no reason. Again, there's no reason for it. It's a 5-year-old.
Right, exactly.
Are you going to pull up the video again, or are we just going to...
No, we're not going to pull up any videos.
Okay.
So we're just going to talk about what we actually went through.
Yeah, again, it's a 5-year-old. There's no reason, there's no rationale for that whatsoever.
There's no reason to show the video over again to actually get you guys to actually get all, riled up over something.
Riled up.
We don't, we're just trying to cover our week and what we actually did and what leads us to today. So then Wednesday was an interesting day. Wednesday, it was Jack Murphy and Sydney Watson in the quartering, talking about their, talking about Jack Murphy and everything that he had gone through. Did you have something that you wanted to say about that?
I do.
Okay, while you're talking, it looks like Jimmy YouTube come in, whatever. We're going to allow him to come in. And you can say what you need to say.
Well, there's a bit of an update to this whole Jack Murphy shebang that was going on. It has come to my attention that he has not only his website, but he has an app. Well, he is on an app. His Liminal Order is on an app that's called Wicker. It's WICKR.
Yeah, I've heard of it before.
This is a website hosting thing through AWS.
Which, I mean, when you're trying to create a website, because I've actually looked into creating a website so that way I could have my own place to put content as opposed to, sorry, Susan, as opposed to using YouTube. When you actually go and Google or use any browser engine or whatever, when you're trying to figure out how to create a website, it's quite interesting how many different places that you can create a website through. For him to actually use Wicker, um, I guess it just kind of gives you a little bit more of an insight on the guy.
Well, yes, because this is used, and if you look at like solutions for military, government agencies, state, local, and then of course at the bottom is enterprise and healthcare. But I mean, they go and do things with the DoD, and there's 1, 2, 3 different things for DoD. Sensitive military communications, complete security from foreign and domestic cyber threats, governmental agencies, doesn't really list any, but text messaging, chat rooms, and things of this nature. And they have an app for Wicker. Let me pull that up. And that's the thing that he uses for his liminal order chat rooms and things like that. And they may have a Discord, but this is the thing that they do for their chat rooms is the Wicker app. And here we go. Share my screen. There we go. And this is the Wicker app on the App Store. Private messenger.
It's Grim.
Hey, what's going on?
Is that like your own intro?
Yeah. The French don't much like me. They don't like noble blood, apparently. We can hear you again, Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
Anywho's, this is the Wicker app that the liminal order people use to have their private messages, and this is private chat rooms as well. So it's messaging and chat rooms. So let me go back to crap. I gotta pull it up. I just X'd out of it. Jeez. Now, the interesting thing about this, okay, here we go, is that the CIA has given funding to this Up and Start web hosting site, as well as the app. Oh, shoot. I just X'd out of it, sorry. Trying to pull up the article on this.
It seems as my son is having a breakdown, so if I sit on mute too long, I forget to turn on my mic. You might have to just kind of say, hey, Koolfrogg, go turn on your mic.
Oh.
Hi, all.
Here it is. And this
I
is...
want to be Kyle.
This is from Zero Hedge. Into the trash it goes. Snowden slams CIA-funded encrypted app Wicker. In 1999, the CIA created In-Q-Tel, a nonprofit investment firm that invests in high-tech startups, companies focused on increasing the capacity of U.S. intelligence agencies. The fund has been notable for funding Google and how do I pronounce that?
Palantir, yeah.
Palantir? I don't think I've ever heard of that. At very early stages. So that's Google and Palantir at very early stages. They had funding to, bringing us to the latest possible investment into encrypted messaging, into the encrypted messaging platform Wicker. And that's his, I guess, tweet. Don't use Wicker, he says. And these people here just reference an article from Vice, but and then they go on and they have some quotes here. So, was first notified by Jack Paulson, executive director of Tech Inquiry, about In-Q-Tel's Form 990 filed in the fiscal year ending in March 2020. The form details compensation paid to outside contractors and mentions a $1.6 it's 1.6 million. I don't know why they don't have the million there. Payment to Wicker, but doesn't explain if it's an investment or purchase order. But deeper within the form, a section reads, the hallmark of IQT's strategic and agile model is the development effort, aka work program, where the company collaborates with the startup to tailor a company's technology to specific government requirements and invests funds towards that work program. Motherboard,
Yeah.
which is a Vice thing, spoke with Carrie Sensei, Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications at NQTel, and asked more about the funds sent to Wicker. NQTel is a prolific strategic investor, making more than 50 investments each year. Our website features the majority of our portfolio investments. There will always be companies that are not announced publicly, which is common practice in an investment company. NQTel serves multiple agencies committed to national security, including the CIA, FBI, NSA, NGA, NRO, DHS, specifically Customs and Border Protection, DIA, and Air Force, Sensei said. However, Wicker's funding profile is nowhere to be found in NQTel's public portfolio section on its website. In June, Amazon Web Services announced it acquired Wicker. Amazon has been known to have cloud contracts with the CIA. More questions than answers remain about NQTel's 1.6 million injection into the end-to-end encrypting messaging app. So there's that. And it's like, why does Jack Murphy choose this? And now get this. I'm going to go to
bring
CNBC.
it up and scroll down a little?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll post that.
I want to touch on a couple things. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So if you look, it says agile. Agile is a development structure. Not really structure. It's a kind of like a process of kind of how different groups work together, and it's sourced out, and basically you meet like once a week and do a few other things and then break it down and do recaps, and each team is kind of working together. So that's like the agile process is a really large thing that's used in development. So that's what they're referring to in agile. And another thing that really kind of sticks out is notice it says NQTel. I just thought that was funny.
Oh, yes.
Not
Yeah.
Right.
sus at all.
Yeah, totally.
That's not South Bank at all.
No, it isn't, Jack Murphy. No, it isn't.
I don't know.
Now I'm going to pull up an
Come on,
article
guys,
from
have faith in
CNBC,
the system.
and it talks about the acquisition by Amazon of Wicker. And guess when this happened?
Probably right after the 6th.
No, it happened in
I'm
June.
guessing yesterday.
Oh, June.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, this was published June 25th. Amazon acquires secure chat app used by government agencies. And it goes on to talk about it as Wicker. Amazon Web Services has acquired Wicker, popular securing messaging platform. Company announced Friday. So that happened just this year. He does that, right? So here's Jack Murphy. He already has this thing like liminal order. I'm pretty sure he's had this out for like 2 years now or something like that or more. Pretty sure he's had this sort of thing out there. And all of a sudden, after the fact of this thing being created, he then goes on to, putting it onto these different things. It's like, you already have something set up. Why are you going on to this? And then Amazon acquires it, and then he's still there. It's like, I don't get it.
Sure, it sounds like you're
very
really
interesting.
trying to say something, but you just can't.
And I have one more. Or do I have one more? Let me make sure this article pulls up here. Oh, yes. Here's one more thing. And again, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not saying that, there's any connections anywhere, because people are saying about with Jack Murphy, like how he's able to like just say something like, oh, hey, this guy is making me feel bad or whatever. And then one flag gets put up and then it's like, boom, everything gets, taken down off of some of these people's stuff on various social media sites like, Twitter, Facebook, and so forth. And even YouTube for that matter.
Is it one flag or
and it's
is
like,
he sending an army after people?
I'm not sure the number of them, but I think it's kind of interesting. It's like on multiple social media platforms. It's not just one. Like for example, like the Quartering, he posts a lot of that stuff on YouTube, but he also has, like the Twitter and the other whatever.
Yeah.
And like he gets taken off of Twitter, but like, he still has a YouTube channel. And I think something was happening with his YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm just saying, like, people have been talking about how, and like I said, I need to look into the more specifics of like how many flags or, so forth. But they've been talking about how it's interesting to them, how from their perspective that he's able to, do this kind of thing. And, nothing that he's ever said is like, getting pulled down or anything because he's, oh, I'm Mr. Conservative now. But like now he's going off and like, his peeps go over and like flag one person's video or something else, or he says something to someone, maybe he flags it himself and then it gets kind of pulled down. And to them, they find that to be a little sus. So
it's a good word for it. It's almost like he has the right politics while having the wrong politics.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course, like I said, you've got CIA there, you've got Amazon web hosting there. And we know, Amazon web hosting, my God, like, holy crap. They've taken down like conservative websites and things left and right. And things that have even been perceived to be conservative, they've just like up and dropped them. So it's like, like why is his still there? Why does his still exist? Why does he go to the one thing that's associated with Amazon and the CIA? And then here we find out like, oh, he's this cuck guy or whatever, and he's not at all anything that he claims that he was. It's like, well, how much more do we not know about this individual? So again, these are the questions that are arising now. Is the CIA investing in Wicker's encrypted communications platform?
We all call him Jack Murphy, but
that's not even his real name.
That's not
his grandfather's
real name anyway.
Yeah,
right.
It's his grandfather's name.
Right.
Which
So,
is just
question.
disrespectful as hell.
Legit.
Right.
Question.
So
looks like the government's been using this application for a very long time, right? Just Amazon picked it up, and we're just now starting to find out about it. Didn't this whole thing with Wicker kind of come to light after the Jack Murphy thing? Is that what's going on?
Well, there's been reports about Wicker and so forth that have existed, with the CIA giving it funding. Snowden put out stuff about it. He said, don't use it or whatever, CIA's tracking, things like that. So that's been around. But it's come up that he uses his own website. I can actually pull up his, let me pull up his website. And his website, it's hosted by Wicker. The
Seminole Order.
Yeah, the Seminole Order.
Yeah. Grimsbar is part of the Seminole Order.
Monday.
This is hosted by that.
Sorry, I'm off today.
No, you're okay, buddy.
And if you look here, you see that this symbol here, like that's supposed to be, apparently, I think it's supposed to be Wicker's little symbol, of that's their web hosting.
Right.
And I think here we go. There's Wicker down here. And if you see in the URL, there's Wicker in the URL. Can you see the URL when I point at it from the?
No, you can't. We can't.
Okay. Well, anyway, but if you look at the URL, there's Wicker in that as well.
I'll take your word for it.
So.
Anybody can
pull
just
back
go
up.
to the liminal order and you can actually pick that up and you can actually see that.
If you want.
Right, if you really wanted to see it.
But you know, you should just believe everything you hear on the internet, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what we do. We believe everything that we see on the internet.
I love my President Biden.
Yeah, Brandon's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Remember when he did that thing that one time when he slurred? Just once?
That one time. That one time, every time.
Yeah. So, according to a report from Vice Media's Motherboard, In-Q-Tel, a nonprofit investment firm that was started by the CIA, recently made a $1.6 million transfer to the encrypted messaging platform Wicker. Excuse me. In-Q-Tel was established in 1999 as an organization to help CIA and broader U.S. intelligence and the broader U.S. intelligence community identify, adapt, and deliver cutting-edge technologies that address national security needs. The transfer from In-Q-Tel, which reportedly occurred before Amazon purchased the company, also followed last year's contract from the United States Air Force with Wicker to provide its recall alert messaging app, Wicker RAM, throughout the U.S. Throughout the U.S. DoD, Department of Defense. With that contract from July 2020, Wicker would extend its services across all three major DoD departments, while expanding to provide secure communications for the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force with encrypted file, video chat, text, and voice services for end users. Providing secure communications to the tactical edge and higher on government and personal devices for data up to, I don't know how to define that. It's IL4 capital and all caps FOUO. I don't know exactly what these acronyms are. To include PII and PHI, those are all in caps, is greatly improving situational awareness and enabling commanders to have better and more complete decision-making data. Dan Skinner, head of federal operations at Wicker, said at the time the deal was announced. So this was a deal then. CIA's investment, as Motherboard reported, it isn't explicitly clear whether $1.6 million paid to Wicker was for an investment into the company or for purchasing a specific product. However, how do I pronounce that? B has done. I don't know how to pronounce that, but there it is. B has done. I don't know. Told Clearance Jobs, that's the name of the website I'm looking at, the latter is unlikely. So the latter, purchasing a specific product, is unlikely. While I'm not sure how the budget is allocated, I imagine it could be used to cover development and maintenance costs, but not on the deployment side, he's explained. As for how the CIA might employ the platform, Behizdan said it would likely be used to expand the way the agency connects with overseas assets. Those in the DoD and throughout the intelligence community may already use Wicker in an unofficial capacity, and while that has likely expanded since the Air Force's contract, the CIA could use the end-to-end encryption platform to communication with its assets anywhere in the world. This is a way for them, the CIA, to enhance their communication with U.S. assets worldwide, he said. So, yeah, and here's, do I want to read this? Program. Okay, I don't think I need to read that. So, anyway, so there's some background involving those connections there, money being passed around, and so forth. So yeah, all of that's very interesting.
So then, after the show, we'll get those links that you actually used that you read off of. We'll try adding them to the description.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah, I
that
had
people
that.
can access those and they can actually look at them closer if they wanted to.
I had that posted where
I love that.
you can see that. Oh wait, you already know that. I told you that.
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, there's some background there for you. There's some background there for you. So
Yeah, very interesting.
I know Jack Murphy is, Mr. Cuck in chief, but I mean, there might be a little bit more to that,
Right.
So
That's interesting.
'tis indeed.
Not to say anything, of course.
Oh, of course.
No.
No, he's not saying anything at all.
Anything you'd like to add to that, Jack Murphy?
No. I have nothing to say about any of that.
So then basically we're playing around. We're like we're working on some other stuff or whatever. Some of these shows coming up could be kind of interesting, kind of fun, but there's always thought processes that go behind trying to figure out how to have fun, pick on people without making them feel bad about themselves.
Without being libelous.
So then to move on through what we were going through the week on.
Yeah, because we were talking about Jack Murphy there, and then I brought that up, so it's kind of like a little update.
Right.
From
That. It was
so
right.
That's how that.
That's fine. Like so, then to continue on with what we were talking about with the week in review. So then on Thursday we did a Twitter and TikTok Thursday. The Twitter TikTok Thursdays, it was something that I had thought of at the beginning or whatever. It was to try gathering people. It doesn't seem to be picking as many people as I thought it would.
Oh, please play the croaking demon child freak. Like,
oh my God, I don't even have any of that even pulled up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was. Libs of TikTok has bots of content that they put out within a week.
Great channel.
It's an awesome channel. I've tried contacting the person that actually runs the channel. I was trying to think if I could see if I could actually get an interview with the person or whatever, just because it's interesting content. And I like to use the content on Thursdays or whatever to get laughs. Just because we usually do a serious show on both Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay.
To go into a lighter Thursday before, just because. That being said,
and by the way, how many Thursdays have we gone through where so many of these TikTok things are actually rabid lefty freak show
this
teachers
is our third week
that's
that
all
we've
of them,
done
bro.
this. So
and they're teaching like kindergarten and elementary school and
3
stuff,
weeks in a row, right? And it's usually educators that are from states such as Minnesota. Amazingly, a large amount of them from Minnesota that actually are preschool teachers, elementary school teachers, and they're all identifying as something other than what they actually are, because we know there's only two genders. And
I'm sorry.
And they're sitting there, they're teaching our kids that it's okay to be a certain way or whatever, to be acceptant of their ways
things and sexuality
you
openly.
talk to our preschool students about sexuality.
And there's some freaking drag show freak that's like showing
it's more
there
little kids
though,
him
right?
in drag and in sexual poses.
They're there for the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. They're not there for sexuality training at the age of 5. That's not, or 4, or even it's a preschool teacher on the one, so it's like you're going a little far.
Well, they're teaching them that it's cool and fun to be this certain way that you're talking about,
and it's not though, because
that's not
that it makes them so unique and special.
It's not. Because your uniqueness and your special, there's plenty of other ways to actually show your uniqueness, as opposed to trying to push your uniqueness on somebody else's kids. And they're like, oh yeah, look at, I taught my children today. It's like, no, these are not your children. They're your students.
And I can't believe how goddamn stupid these people are. I mean, holy hell. I mean, your face is on TikTok all over the freaking planet. Like,
Right.
And then they're
holy
surprised
freak.
when they get fired.
Yes. And it's like,
Right.
you're showing this child a sexual pose of you. yourself like dressed in drag, or like you're talking about, like, oh yeah, like, me and Mrs. Whatever, we're lesbians and we sleep together and whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, and you're surprised when a bunch of parents find out who the hell you are and like march to the school board or wherever and demand that, your ass be fired and thrown out, if not charged outright.
Right. I mean, if anything, it's woke up a lot of people and their, parents or whatever, and they're actually going to the schools and actually joining in parent-teacher conferences like they had never done before.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
they're being woken up.
Right. I mean, I usually use my family for instance or whatever. So we were, we weren't. My parents were both working, 40 hours a week plus for their whole life. They always worked their butts off for everything and anything they possibly could. Well, when it came down to it, even though, I'm not doubting that they loved us as, as kids or whatever, but, they always gave to us. They always made sure that we had everything that we needed. But they worked their butt off so much that when it came to the end of the day after eating, it was bedtime for them. They were done. They were done. They didn't have anything to do with anything. So they didn't go and watch and check, see if our homework was done or, anything. They didn't have time.
Right?
Right. It would have been better if they actually were there and didn't give us everything, because we were, basically just given everything. And it's like, oh, you can have everything if you work your butt off. It's like, well,
it's not even
wants
true
to
anymore.
work their butt off to actually get paid. I mean, I got into an argument with my mom today about work or whatever, because she's like, so have you found a job yet? And I'm like, actually, because my wife's working from, she goes to work from like 7 in the morning to about 7 at night. And I'm at home with the 2-year-old. It's like, there's no time for me to go and do a job after that. There's nothing open, especially now, post Koof, it's just like there's no jobs available. And they're like, oh, you could do something if you wanted to. You could, put him in daycare. I'm like, well, I'm doing this, and I explained what I'm doing with this channel or whatever. And my mom's like, I don't want to even hear anything to do with it, because it's not a way to make a living. Nobody makes a living that way. I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome, thanks. And she's like, what? I'm like, you bring up Nick Ricada covering Kyle Rittenhouse and making $27,000 a day. Nobody makes a living off of nothing. Like, you'd be surprised what these people make a living off of. And they still just kind of looked at me like, yeah, no, that's not how you make a living. It's like, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, let me not be there for my child. No, that's not how it's going to work. So, that being said, let's move on from TikTok Thursday. We'll do some more Lives at TikTok next Thursday, I'm sure.
TikTok.
TikTok. And
Tic-tac.
So, moving on from that, last night's stream, 6 hours, 19 minutes, and 40 seconds worth of laughter, fun. We met some new people, some new friends, and it was the most watched. It actually says that we have 39 views.
Ooh.
Yeah, right.
Hell
It's
yeah.
it's just increasing. So I mean, keep watching that stuff. I looked at the graphics on it a little bit, to see how long people were watching or whatever. Most of them are watching for an average of like an hour and a half. So they're still paying attention. That's fine. They don't have to watch the whole 6 hours. The 6 hours was hard to go through. Because I mean,
yeah.
Even if they did the hour and a half, they made it through January 6th.
They were trying to clip things from
that. and that's an episode that I would like actually try to go and clip smaller videos out of and try reposting to see if I couldn't get clicks on the smaller posts that came out of that. But yeah, that's the most viewed episode that we've created since the thought of even doing this channel.
Have you posted some of those
Woo
clips?
woo.
No, we have to actually cut some stuff and actually create
Yeah.
clips of it.
Sorry,
So
Okay.
that
sounds
being said, I
interesting.
was really surprised because we didn't end until whatever 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was.
Yeah, damn near.
Yeah, it was pretty early in the morning. So when that actually happened, I was really surprised that by 10 o'clock I was able to actually download the episode, save it to my external hard drive, and look to see if I could actually push it over to the other channels. And yeah, it was available. I'm like, that's amazing. The Jack Murphy one, that one took the longest. That one took until almost like 4 o'clock in the afternoon before
Is that
I
a
got access to
connectivity
it.
thing, or what kind of?
No, it's a
goes into
YouTube
that?
algorithm that actually goes and sends them to different servers or whatever to actually get checked to be sure that you're in compliance of YouTube's
So it basically
Susan's
scans
whatever.
for
Fauci
buzzwords and
is
stuff.
God.
Yeah.
There. After that, I think we can say.
Oh,
that.
that being said, now we have to throw
Yes,
a
with that being
disclosure out there. We're not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're not trying to tell you what to do or how to do it. Make
Bill
sure
Gates thinks
you
so.
go see your doctor and do what's best for you. But yeah,
Agreement.
that was a good episode. I really enjoyed the episode. Like I said, we met some new friends. We created a possible new few people coming in here on a regular basis and joining us for channels. I think I would have to talk to you guys and see if we can't do something. I think I want to do an interview with Grimsbar just to actually do a little bit more in depth with him or whatever, and see
Who
if we
are
can't.
you? Where did you
No,
come
I mean,
from?
and
What do you want to
get his
do with
channel
your
some
Who is
How
your
to
daddy
raise
and
a
what do
trigger.
you do?
Who is your daddy? and
Why
what
are you
do do?
here? No.
Was it like the cat that was like, I don't know? You remember that one? The
No,
meme with the
I-
cat?
I just really like your content. I've watched a lot of your stuff that you've actually created.
Oh, I'm actually working on one right now.
It's fantastic.
I
Top-notch.
assumed that was what was going on while you weren't talking to us, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm like,
you
well,
know Joe's hot take tonight where he said that he's a pitcher, not a catcher.
He's a busy man.
Oh, he's about to get he's about to get
He's
memed
about
out of
to get it.
existence. He's about to get memed hard.
That's hilarious.
Taking, not giving. Am I right?
So, I mean, I would really like to thank everybody that actually showed up last
That's
night and
fantastic.
actually gave us a prediction on everything. Because, like I said, I want to do some editing on that channel, on that particular show, and pull different clips of different things out of it or whatever. Maybe pull a prediction one or whatever, where we can kind of edit the predictions through or whatever, and show how many people are actually black pilled for 2022. That being said, that brought us to today. We're going on about 38 minutes right now worth of show, which isn't too bad. We actually have enough time to actually do this last thing that I wanted to do for today. Even though it was a no plan Saturday, we actually had a little bit of a plan after posting the thumbnail. It was a little bit more than what we actually thought. So I have a couple things here that I'm going to share real quick. This one here I actually found very interesting. This is Jack Posobiec goes and posts about the mass formation psychosis that's been trending for the day. And he goes and he says the algorithm and now Google is struggling to manually edit the results when you search for mass formation psychosis. Try it. Never seen it before. And you can see over 10,400,000 results And it says, it looks like these results are changing quickly. If this topic is new, it can sometimes take time for results to be added by reliable sources.
Reliable sources.
Yeah,
What?
reliable sources. I'm like,
Oh, you mean
okay.
curated? Great, buddy.
The fact
Remember
check.
Google's motto. Remember Google's motto. Don't, what is it? Don't be evil. Don't be evil, right? Is that was Google's motto?
Either that or don't become evil.
Something
And then of
or
course,
other.
they sign contracts with, like, DOD and CIA
The
and
devil.
different things for, like putting guns on, like, freaking robots and things and all this shit. Allegedly, of course. Allegedly, of course.
So
And then now
with
here's
that-
this, of course.
With
all
that
these
being
different
said,
things.
that they want to
Murder
actually
time.
try editing results and
But hey, we love
changing
Google.
things quickly to
We love you, Susan.
go along with reliable sources. Fuck yourself, Susan. We're gonna go and we're gonna read this mass formation psychosis thing. So the interesting one is if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the article before we go too far, there's the copy right down at the bottom. Mr. Robert W. Malone says, permission is hereby granted to reproduce this work in its entirety and with author acknowledgement. So we're going to acknowledge Mr. Robert Malone right straight out for doing his job and having put this article out. So again,
That
mass
might be
formation
danger zone,
psychosis.
wouldn't it?
What's that?
Robert Malone. That's a name that's like. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
how Susan would feel about it.
But it says permission is hereby granted to reproduce this work. So he's granting us permission to actually entirety of this article to actually reproduce it or whatever.
Oh, he's
So-
talking about the psychosis, not necessarily the smash.
Right. He's not right. He's
Okay.
it's a very interesting article. So I'm gonna read through it. I'm gonna
I mean,
edit
you
some
can
of-
draw an inference,
Right. I'm gonna
if you want
try
to.
editing some of the words that come out of it so
Maybe.
that way, we keep Susan at bay for the most part. So if I skip over something that's actually in the wording, there's a reason. Because we have to appease Susan.
Is that why she was against horse paste so much? I think that's probably why.
That could be. That could be something.
You guys are looking for a comedic interlude. There's something right there for you.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, you heard that right. A comedic interlude. Sorry, that's fake news. In his lube.
My wife's boyfriend's
Whose loop
Oh
are
my
you
God.
talking about?
Oh, SpongeBob.
So anyway, so Robert Malone writes this article. He says, as many as you know, I've spent time researching and speaking about mass psychosis theory. Most of what I've learned has come from Dr. Matthias Dismet, who realized that this form of mass hypnosis of the madness of crowds can account for strange phenomenon of about 20 to 30% of the population in the Western world, becoming entranced with the noble lies and dominant narrative concerning the safety and effectiveness of genetic and both propagated and enforced by politicians, science bureaucrats, pharmaceutical companies, and legacy media. Go figure. Anybody can break in here in between each paragraph if you might have anything you want to say.
Just
But
typical
one
of what you'd expect from these kind of people,
Right. Exactly. So what one observes with the mass hypnosis is that a large fraction of the population is completely unable to process new scientific data and facts demonstrating that they have been misled about the effectiveness and adverse impacts of mandatory use, lockdowns, genetic, these things here that cause people's bodies to make large amounts of biologically active these things, at Spike these things.
Spikers.
Yeah. These hypnotized by this process are unable to recognize the lies and misrepresentations they are being bombarded with on a daily basis and actively attack anyone who has the temerity to share information with them which contradicts the propaganda that they have come to embrace. And for those whose families and social networks have been torn apart by the process and who find that close relatives and friends have ghosted them because they question the officially endorsed truth and are actually following the scientific literature. This can be a source of deep anguish, sorrow, and psychological pain. Now, I kind of told you guys about my stuff from today or whatever that I had talked to with my mom and how she feels about what I'm even doing. And that's part of the psychosis stuff that's going on. It is with those souls in mind that I included discussion of mass formation theory of Dr. Mateus Desmet during a recent talk I gave in Tampa, Florida, to an audience of about 2,000. As I looked out into the audience and spoke, I could see relief in many faces and even tears running from eyes of stoic men.
Stoic men.
Dude, are you kidding me? What is up with
Yeah.
the language in this? It's a
Unknown
little
to
jarring,
me.
to be honest,
Yeah. Unknown to me, someone recorded the speech and appended the vocal track to a series of calming images of natural landscapes, producing a video that has gone viral throughout the world. I'll link to the video as well as some of the notes to clarify the supplement and talk to the appended below. Many have told me that they find it very healing. I hope it may help you also. I watched this video. It's a 13-minute video. It does have a soundtrack behind it or whatever of some kind of soft playing music. Not really sure if Susan would be happy with that music being played.
It's a pretty good video.
Don't you?
It is a very good video. If you get a chance to actually check out this video, I'll make sure I link this down below as well in the description, so that way it's easier to find, and you can actually take a view of this video. Very good video. A brief overview of mass formation, which is developed by Dr. Mateus Desmet. He is a psychologist and a statistician. He's at the University of Ghent in Belgium. I think Dr. Mateus is onto something about what is happening, and he calls this phenomena mass formation psychosis. So when he says mass formation, you can think of an equivalent to crowd formation. One can think of it as crowd psychosis. I can tell you all are like, wow, this is just interesting, and I have so much to say about it.
I thought you said this guy was cool, man.
Oh, he is.
Sorry.
Did he make you cry already? The conditions to set up.
I got a single Indian man tear coming down my face.
The conditions to set up mass formation psychosis included a lack of social connectedness and sense making, as well as large amounts of latent anxiety and passive aggression. When people are inundated with a narrative, they present a plausible object of anxiety.
Chuck.
Sorry.
Oh no, I was thinking out loud. Sorry, I did not realize I was muted. I was checking all the boxes. I thought you were giving me a list.
Check. I'm crying. Yep, I'm there. Oh my God. Yep, I believe it all.
Don't interrupt us again. Jeez.
Check.
That was my bad.
No, it's fine.
He just like boots you now. It's like, bye.
See
You're
you
gone.
later. No. Oh, you don't? What?
Nerd.
Oh, he'll come back, maybe. The strategy of coping with it, and when many individual groups together to battle the object of the collective single-mindedness, this allows people to stop focusing on their own problems, avoiding personal mental anguish. Instead, they focus all their thought and energy on this new object. A mass formation progresses. The group becomes increasingly bonded and connected. Their field of attention is narrowed, and they become unable to consider alternative points of view. Leaders of the moment are revered, unable to do no wrong. There he is.
My
No, you're
It was supposed to be a joke, and then my stuff crashed.
okay. Left unabated.
MK Ultra. Mockingbird. Monarch. Excuse me, I had to get that out of my system. Anyway.
You're feeling okay now?
Yeah, I'm feeling great now.
Okay,
actually, yeah.
just as long as you didn't
So,
come
yeah, you
down
can
with
go.
some
Yeah.
strange new variant. Left unabated, a society under the spell of mass formation will support a totalitarian governance structure capable of otherwise unthinkable atrocities in order to maintain compliance. A note, mass formation is different from groupthink. There are easy ways to fix groupthink just by bringing in dissenting voices and making sure they give them platforms. It isn't as easy as mass formation. Even when the narrative falls apart, cracks in the strategy clearly aren't solving the issue. The hypnotized crowd can't break free of the narrative. This is what appears to be happening now with this thing. The solution for those to control of the narrative is to produce bigger and bigger lies to prop up the solution. This being controlled by mass formation, no longer are able to use reason to break free of the group narrative. Of course, the obvious
He makes
example.
it sound so easy. He makes it sound so easy to just put out more opinions that are not among those of the popular group politically.
Right.
Well, no, he's saying like groupthink. All you have to do is just inject another point
Just
of
a
view, and it's just
dissenting opinion,
okay.
right.
But this is like another level.
Right.
What
This is
he's
another
trying to
level where
refer to.
even trying to actually say anything different, it just totally gets you shut down.
Yeah, even in real
Yeah,
life,
like
you talk to somebody and it's
that's
just
what I
like a
was saying.
stone wall. You can't break through. It's like, you just say something to them and they just keep repeating whatever they, watched on TV, like a freaking
Exactly.
robot.
Even if
what
you
the
have
hell?
like absolute irrefutable evidence, there's just no chance of changing their mind because they're emotionally
keep
attached
repeating.
to their opinion.
What is that called?
Just keep saying.
Selection bias, I think. Well, that's similar to selection bias, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the right
Sounds
one,
like a
but
good
it's
word
similar.
for it.
It's similar. Selection bias is where like you go to get facts to figure out the truth, but you only select the stuff that supports your narrative.
Oh, yeah,
Instead
like
of-
flat earthers, they're like, okay, let me see here.
Well, if you go left, you hit the poles, and if you go right, you hit the poles, so it must be flat. Oh, now you got a flat Earth banner.
Now
You're
you
welcome.
listen to me.
Oh,
You've
guys.
been fact checked. There you go.
Well, because Australia doesn't really exist. It's okay.
Neither does Virginia.
Yeah, what is this mountain time that I keep hearing about? That seems like it's
I
bullshit.
have
too.
no clue what you're talking about. What is that?
Yeah, see, exactly.
Printer God's so offended right now.
Of course, the obvious example of mass formation in Germany in the 1930s and 40s. How could the German people, who are highly educated, very liberal in the classic sense, Western thinking people, how could they go so crazy and do what they did to the Jews? How could this happen to a civilized people? A leader of mass formation movement will use the platform to continue to pump the group with new information to focus on. In the case of this thing, of this brand, I'd like to use the term fear porn. Leaders through the mainstream media and government channels continuously feed the beast with more messaging that focuses on further hypnotize their adherents. Studies suggest that mass formation follows a general distribution. 30% are brainwashed, hypnotized, indoctrinated by the group narrative. 40% in the middle are persuadable and may follow if no worthy alternative is perceived. That's 70%. The other 30% fight against the narrative. You know, you can pick and choose which group you want to actually be in.
No, you can't even do that. If there's actually a really good study done with slime
forced
molds.
into them.
Well, there's a really good, not even that. There's a really good study done with slime molds, and a whole bunch of different things in nature where about 25 to 30% will always go opposite of the rest of the group, no matter how hard they push. And it doesn't matter what it is. And it's actually like an evolutionary thing, and it's a really interesting study. And if you guys want, I can send it. There's like a YouTube video about it and everything, and they go through and break down like how this pattern in nature kind of shows up. And so the 30%, 25 to 30% that always go against the group or like go another way is actually a very positive thing when you're looking at survival of a species. Basically, it's a way of not putting all the eggs in one basket. It's a really interesting thing, and it's well, not even well, I guess so. But yeah, it's actually like an ingrained thing. Like all organisms follow it. Like that's just there is no getting away from it. It is just so ingrained.
So that's why all dogs don't look the same.
I wouldn't say that, but like
No,
if you have like
more to it than that.
a herd or anything like that, or like fish or this or that, right? They spread out. There's about 20-30% that kind of go off and do something else. It's really interesting.
We're about up to the hour, so I think we're done with this article here.
It's fine. I mean, I didn't assume we were going to exactly hit just the hour, so especially with that long-winded Jack Murphy stuff.
6 more hours.
Yeah, 6 more hours of.
I don't know.
Well, his boyfriend's gonna be upset.
I don't know if I could do another 6-hour stream today. That was
it's cool, guys.
That
I'll
was
put on
fun.
some Rocky music and we'll all get pumped up.
I'm going to pump.
I'd have to
go
and find everybody else's live streams and go and message it out so that people would actually come in and actually talk to us.
We're going to stream all night. Fuck your freedoms.
It'd be pretty sweet if we could have like a ton of people in here just vibing.
So to continue, it says those that rebel the fight against the narrative become the enemy of the brainwashed and primary target of aggression. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess, when I think about it, I've always kind of been against the normal, what everybody else was for or whatever. I always kind of, fought against the quote unquote narrative of, things or whatever, even when I was, still living in my hometown or whatever. And it was just the way it always was. And now with the stuff that's going on, like I explained about my family with my mom or whatever, it's like, I'm totally her enemy. She's like, seriously, she does anything that she can to not listen to a word that's coming out of my mouth, because she's like, you have no clue what you're talking about. And it's like, oh, okay. I just
You think
sit
it's
here
just
and
fear, man?
yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I just sit here and I read everything so that way I know and have an educated thought on what's actually happening. I may be wrong on some of it,
And what he's
but
presenting here
you
is that
can't
like
tell me
these
that I
people
can't
are
have an opinion.
right. Like what he's saying here in this
Right.
article is that like they're instilling, okay, allegedly instilling fear into people through fear porn, and then it riles them up, and then they give them some sort of a solution of like follow this, do this, whatever
Yeah,
this
do
person
what we
says, whatever,
do what
and
we
then you
tell you to
must or
do.
else, and so they're
You
like
must not
constantly
do different. Stay
subconsciously
with
like
it.
using the fear, and like it's controlling
Yeah.
the way in which you think and the way in which you operate, because there's this constant impulse of terror
I mean, I still
every
find
time,
it hard for me to actually
allegedly.
go back and watch any kind of mainstream media. Watching any form of mainstream media is just super difficult for me. I can't even do it. I used to watch, like 5 o'clock news on a daily basis or whatever.
And it's like this hypnosis thing is what he's referring to it as. It's like it's this sort of as he's talking about this, it's like this hypnotism. It's like this thing of like you just cannot, just like you cannot break it. It's a brainwashing type of a deal, allegedly, of course.
So then it says one of the best ways to counter mass formation is for those against the narrative to continue to speak out against it, which serves to help break the hypnosis of some in the brainwashed group, as well as persuade the persuadable middle to choose reason over mindlessness. It seems like there's an awful lot more people that are in that brainwash group than what they're actually telling us there are.
It's easier to believe than to look. And I think people just don't have the time.
Yeah, that's
don't
another.
care
There's like a
enough.
lot of people don't have the time. They say they don't
A lot
have
of
the
people
time.
make
They
sure
got
people don't
better
have the time.
things to do, but then we all sit on these lockdowns and stuff or whatever. And
What if we are
what did
brainwashed?
you do the whole time that you were stuck at your home doing absolutely nothing?
What if
You
we're in the
sat there
brainwashed?
and watched. What's that?
What if we're in the brainwashed group because they're both 30%? So both think the other one's in the brainwashed group, but that's only if
No,
you're actually
right.
brainwashed.
Which one is the brainwashed group and which one's not? Because
Yeah, or am I
Well,
resisting
maybe
the
we both
brainwashed,
are.
or am I brainwashed, or both? Are both sides brainwashed?
We are.
I have the
I think-
tendency to
I think
think that
both
I'm
sides are
probably in the middle
brainwashed to
group.
hate each other.
I can be persuaded.
I mean, if you're brainwashed, you're
Uh,
not using any amount of reason to rationalize any of your thoughts. If you're, I mean, like for example, I'm not brainwashed to believe that perhaps there might be something weird going on between like Jack Murphy and like certain things going on with that, right? And I'm not just simply telling you must believe. I'm actually like throwing out articles at you. I'm actually like presenting this information,
Yeah.
and then you do whatever. Like someone who's brainwashed is just like Fauci said, Dr. Sickle said to do whatever, Bill Gates was on TV, and like that's it. That's just the end of it. That's
Can I give a hot take?
Get up.
Race is fake.
yeah, people like to put stuff into boxes, like categories for organizational
I feel
purposes.
like where you come from determines what you look like. That's it. It's not that we're any different, because we're not. Like
Well,
that
selective
skeleton
and
pressure.
looks the
using
same as
that
that
kind of
skeleton.
language
Yeah.
perhaps would
Yeah,
instill that
race is
subconsciously
fake.
in
Yeah,
someone's mind that,
absolutely.
like, yeah,
I mean, I grew up in a small town that was actually 50. It was like a midway point between the cities in Chicago. It was a very, very popular stopping spot for a lot of movers.
I mean, if it was real, then could you please explain to me where species breaks down into race? I'm pretty sure species is the bottom, right? And we're all humans.
Thank you.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
bullshit.
That's where I was getting
Follow
at.
the
Is
science.
is that I grew up in
And the
this
sooner
in
everyone realizes
this
that,
small
the
town that
sooner
was
we'll-
very
Follow the
very
science.
diverse.
Yep.
So diverse that there was so many different,
I am
so
the
many
science.
people that came from so many different walks
I
of life
am
that got
the
stuck in this
science.
town for moving things
That's a
and
butthead
doing
for
things
those
that they
reviews.
shouldn't have been doing, and they get stuck there because of Minnesota's laws or whatever. Minnesota has a great probation law where they like to put everybody on probation.
I'll
Small
say.
town, we actually had the saying of come on vacation, stay on probation. It's like people would come through just to stop for a moment, and they'd get caught with whatever, and they get stuck on probation, and then they're stuck in in that town for the next 5 to 10 years because that's what the probation papers say they have to do or whatever. And it's just
Yep.
like just go set yourself in jail for the year and move on. But no, they would sit around for the 5 to 10 years, and get stuck in that town. And it's just amazing what happens with life or whatever. And I've talked to so many people, ran into so many different people in that town, especially being the last manager for Radio Shack. I had a very large following of people that would come in to bump up their boost time on their phone or whatever. So it's like it usually comes with a poor class of people as opposed to a race base. It was more of a I was just trying to go off of what you actually said. Yeah, race doesn't really exist. It's more of a financial level.
Construct.
So last paragraph, Dr. Desmond suggests that for something as big as this thing here, the only way to break from mass formation psychosis is to give the crowd something bigger to focus on. He believes that the totalitarianism may be that bigger issue. Of course, after that thing, global totalitarianism may be the biggest issue of our time. So,
Globalism.
yeah, globalism.
Yeah, basically.
Again,
Follow
thank
along.
you, Robert Malone, for posting this and give us permission to actually use your stuff.
Yeah. Claps.
Yeah, that was really cool, actually.
Right. It's
He's a very educated man, and he is very intelligent. You should listen to him talk. He did a thing with Joe Rogan on his podcast. I think it was like 2 days ago, I guess. No?
Yeah, a couple days ago. And I was kind of thinking actually trying to cover that.
Good for him.
Trying to cover
Honestly,
that
good for
wasn't
him.
as easy as you think it is. Oops. Let's remove that.
And he has several other things to say about several other different topics related to oof and jabs.
Yeah. He had a lot to say about a lot. I didn't get to listen to the
and he
whole
may have
thing.
played, may or may not have, according to the interwebs, but that's the interwebs. Do you believe all the fact checkers on interwebs? You can, maybe, who knows? But he claims, that, well, I mean, again, that's what the fact checkers say. But, that he himself claims that he has an integral part in making certain aspects of jabs that are out. So you can find out exactly what all that French means when you look into his stuff.
Right?
He's pretty good. He's pretty smart. He's been doing stuff for quite a while. Allegedly, of course. But there you go.
Now that we're an hour and 10 minutes into it, let's go ahead and show out ourselves. Jimmy, do you have anything that you normally do that you'd like to actually share? Want to share your TikTok page or anything? Or
it's Jimmy Neutron at TikTok.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Shoot through the stars and buy candy bars, and yeah, that's
Candy
it's
bars.
at the Atlas on TikTok. At
I
the
like
Atlas
candy
on
bars.
TikTok, and
So you want to do that again,
the
Jimmy?
Wingman
We're all just
Rich on
memeing
Twitter.
over you. Yeah, go again, man.
Yeah, go again. Throw that one back at us one more time.
It's at the real Anime Rich on Twitter and at the Atlas Pass on TikTok if you want to see some amateur art and crazy videos.
Grimsbar, you got something that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I
your
mean, I
channel?
do. Yeah, man. Yeah, I do meme videos. I also play video games, and yeah, I like a lot of jump scares. Also, I'm working on some speed runs, and well, not really speed runs, but trying to get the Messiah run right now, knocked out for Outlast 2. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, mostly I just cut up meme videos, and whatnot. Maybe if it's alright with you, can we throw the one from
Oh
tonight?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll throw that one up here real quick.
Yeah.
The one that was in private.
This one's hot off the press.
This is what he'd been working on and not talking to us instead of.
You sure you want to show that here, or should we make
It'll
everyone
be-
go over there when they're done watching this?
Oh no, it's fine. It's just just a light taste of kind of the memery. It's yeah. This is actually I didn't put too much work into it, so it's not too high level. But yeah,
High level.
Figured out what we need to
There's
focus
different
on
levels.
good pictures. So he's like, all right, so we want to find smallish lefties. And I just started laughing. I just started like he's basically trying to figure out who's a good pitcher based on like how big the dude is. And I literally had to pull over. I started swerving my car as I'm driving because I was just like, this is the guy I'm talking about with pitching. So yeah, I am.
Well, if
I
we're
guess,
going
a
off
confirmed
size,
pitcher, not
Shank
catcher.
Uger.
There you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate you picking up on that.
A lot of people makes the other queens really intimidated.
Penetration.
Oh, that's good. Good job.
Oh, she's so fine.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, the music was a little bit loud. Probably should have brought that down more, but yeah. Anyway, that's just a little bit of it.
It was just a few seconds, so it should be okay for the most.
Yeah.
Let's share something else here
Give
real
his
fast.
channel all the love, by the way, you guys. Like create
Yeah,
alternate
absolutely.
channels. And
Everybody go follow
Grimsbar.
Grimsbar.
I have been stuck. I have been stuck at 99 subs, and it is driving me insane. Like just 99. It's like just one more.
Just tell your friends. Just
Do it.
Steal their phone. It's okay.
Do it.
I mean, my wife's boyfriend's
go
even
create
subbed.
a second account and go and sub to them. Whatever. However you got to do it.
Yeah, it's whatever. We
Allegedly.
won't be mad about it. We won't.
Yeah, and then
So
follow
then-
these guys back.
So then I got something here real quick. What's this?
Oh, so look at that. It's got my name at the top. Huh. Yeah.
What is it?
America Shirts rfirst.com. That's America Shirts rfirst.com. Get the most based t-shirts on the planet. I'm not a lawyer. That's just what the website says. Oh yeah, look at that. I get be a walking billboard of health to everyone you know. Grab yourself one of these lovely shirts. Spread the truth with people. Let them know.
You can see that he goes and he puts himself out on almost every other platform. He has a couple
Oh, good
different
lord! What kind of
platforms.
format do you have for my website?
I
Everything's
really
straight
don't.
up and down.
It's right. It's weird. how
This
it
is
laid
looking a
itself
little
out
wonky today. It's
But
normally
yeah,
not like
anything
this for
from
anyone
St.
who's
Kyle
willing.
all to Gil Bates.
Oh yes, Gil Bates. Again, conversation
They'll
starters.
figure this out, guys. Don't worry. Punishments will be doled out.
So then you can see here he has this area that says discount codes. There are discount codes to go along with this stuff. You got a discount code for us today?
I do. You can get 15% off any shirt in the store by using the discount code Koolfrogg.
Nice. That's
Again.
KOOLFROGG for you that are the listeners that are out there. So yeah, look at that. I don't know why it laid it out the way it did today.
Yeah, it's a little wonky. But,
It's
hey,
interesting
it
why it
works.
did that. So then Again, that's
the discount code is cool. And you can get yourself 15% off any shirt in store. So,
Mint.
and I'm Koolfrogg. You can follow me at linktree/Koolfrogg. Again, KOOLFROGG. If you'd like to support me instantly, you can buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Again, KOOLFROGG. Give me
Get
a
him a
follow.
coffee.
Help
God.
me out. Buy me a coffee. Buy me a book. Buy me anything.
Walking.
I'd be
I'm a
totally
freaking
happy.
car.
Just do it.
Walking.
Don't question why you're doing it. Just do it. That's all. That's all.
Coffee.
That's all. Buymeacoffee.com
Do it.
I
/Koolfrogg.
haven't told you the tragedy.
If
of
you don't buy him
Darth
coffee and that, then
Why?
Yinzo a bunch of no life Yagoffs. No, that's my Pittsburghese. Jago.
All right. So, count it down. 1, 2, 3. Later.
1, 2,
Later, peeps.